West CRA meeting for December 12, 2024. At this time, I will yield to the Executive Director, Mr. James D. McQueen, to get us started.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, let me wish all of the board a Merry Christmas and a most prosperous New Year. And let me also assure my good and dear friend Commissioner Carollo that I know my obligations as it relates to barbecue ribs, and I will. I'm practicing right now, Commissioner. Just give me a minute. I'm practicing. Thank you very much for your patience. And we have one item, and Attorney Brown will read that item into the record. Thank you.
Item 1 is a resolution accepting sole response to PSA .492 LLC for RFP 2403, Small Business Retailer of Urbanware. Further authorizing Executive Director to execute a sublease agreement substantially in the form attached to Exhibit A for approximately 1,000 square feet of commercial space at 249 Northwest 6th Street, Suite 108, Miami, Florida, 33136.
Move.
Wait, we have to have public comment.
Well, yep, they can speak afterwards. Well, we have a.
Okay, well, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. And at this time, we will open the floor for public comment. If anyone would like to speak on this item, please step forward. Seeing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. I believe we have some more.
Yeah, we have one other thing we have to take care of. We have to have the minutes approved.
From the October 24th meeting.
Okay. May I have a motion for the October 24th meeting minutes?
Move.
A motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And this shall conclude the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting for December 12, 2024. Thank you, gentlemen.
Merry
And
Christmas,
Madam.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. And at this time, we are...
We just need
Flip
30.
the tape. Okay.
What are we doing? Oh, flipping the tape.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City of Miami Commission meeting for December 12, 2024. We are now back in session. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the first reading ordinances titles for the record?
Before we move, we're in the Omni CRA, right?
Yes, we've in the regular commission meeting now.
Oh, we're regular commission meeting.
Regular
now.
commission
Okay.
meeting now.
Okay, so that's.
Mr. City Attorney?
Thank you, Madam Chair. FR1. Let me just double check my list.
Yeah, don't lose.
Wait, before you start reading, are there any items in the first reading ordinances that you would like to defer, gentlemen?
We're going FR1 to.
FR 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9.
No, I want to discuss FR 1 and 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to pull for discussion FR 1 and 2. But if you could read the titles, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. FR1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 22, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Garbage and Other Solid Waste in General, to amend the requirement by the city for pickup on bulky waste to keep in line with current needs, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 22, Article 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Garbage and Other Solid Waste, Regulation of Persons Engaged in Commercial Waste Collection, providing for an additional requirement that franchisees also be required to remove bulky trash from contract properties, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 2, Section 2-887 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Standards for Creation and Review of Boards Generally, Quorum Requirements, Exceptions, more particularly by removing references to the boards, committees, and citizens advisory groups, collectively city boards, being sunset herein. Further amending Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 2, Section 2-892 of the City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commission Standards for Creation and Review of Boards, generally sunset review of boards, more particularly by removing references to the city boards being sunset herein to maintain consistency with the City Code and align the City Code with current standards and practices. Repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 3, Sections 2-921 through 2-929 of the City Code titled Administrations, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Mayor's Council on Global Competitiveness. Further repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 6, Sections 2-1011 and 2-1019 of the City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Commission on the Status of Women and Quality of Life Committee. Further repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 7, Sections 2-1051 and 2-1056 of the City Code titled Administrative Boards, Committees, Commissions, Overtown Advisory Board, Overtown Community Oversight Board. Further repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 12, Sections 2-1150 and 2-1153 of the City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Community Relations Board. Further repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 22, Sections 2-1329 through 2-1331 of the City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Stars of Cayocho Advisory Committee. Further repealing Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 26, Sections 2-1360 and through 2-1368 of the City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Miami Technology Council. Further repealing Chapter 22, Article 7, Sections 22-170 through 22-174 of the City Code titled Garbage and Other Solid Waste, Commercial Solid Waste and Recycling Management Advisory Committee. Sunsetting the Affordable Homeownership Loan Program Task Force established by the City Commission pursuant to Resolution Number R-190508, adopted on December 12, 2019, declaring that all powers, duties, assets, and funds of the City Board sunset herein shall revert to the City, and the City shall resume the responsibilities of the City Board sunset herein, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR 4, I have a substitution, and I'll read the substitution title. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 62, Article 14, Section 62-644 through 62-645 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Planning and Zoning, Public Benefits Trust Fund, NRD 1, Public Benefits Trust Fund, Intent and Planning and Zoning Public Benefits Trust Fund established to provide for the transfer of NRD 1 public benefits trust funds collected by the City of Miami City Finance Department to a qualified public depository held by the Wynwood Business Improvement District, allowing for the investment of NRD 1 public benefits trust funds collected pursuant to the city's investment policy and Section 218.415 Florida statutes, providing for 3-year terms for NRD Public Benefits Trust Fund Committee members, clarifying that 35% of total NRD 1 public benefits trust funds collected shall be allocated towards affordable housing and limited funding to affordable housing projects where at least 51% of the units provided are restricted to a person or households with an income at or below 80% of the median income for Miami-Dade County, Florida, as determined by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR 7. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission establishing Chapter 52 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as
You could
amended.
hold off for a second, Mr. City Attorney. I apologize. Madam Chair, I'd like to pull 7 and 8 separately.
Okay, he's just reading the title. We can pull them.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. No worries. FR 7, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission establishing Chapter 52 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, City Code titled Special Events, to provide a chapter dedicated to special events updating definitions and regulations to such special events and consolidating regulations currently in Chapter 54 and 62 of the City Code. Further amending Chapter 54, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, titled Streets and Sidewalks in General, to delete regulations related to special events to be codified in Chapter 52 of the City Code and clarifying definitions. Further repealing Chapter 62, Article 13, Division 1 of the City Code titled Planning and Zoning Approval for Temporary Uses and Occupancies, Permit Required Temporary Events, to delete regulations related to special event regulations and temporary event permit to be codified in the Chapter 52 of the City Code containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR 8, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 36, Section 4 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, titled Noise, Operation of Radios, Phonographs, or Other Sound-Making Devices, Bands, Orchestras, and Musicians generally, to provide for City Commission waiver for special occasions and occasions on city-owned, operated, or leased properties and facilities containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR 9, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 38, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, titled Parks and Recreation General, by creating Section 38-35 titled Naming of Children's Park, to provide for the naming of the parcel of land consisting of approximately 16,222 square feet located at 1320 Southwest 12th Avenue, 1330 Southwest 12th Avenue, and 1211 Southwest 14th Street, Miami, Florida, and other contiguous parcels that may be added in the future as Children's Park, further directing the city manager to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the naming of the park, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. And that is the end of the first reading ordinances.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. We have pulled FR 1 and 2 for discussion and FR 7 and 8. May I have a motion for FR 3, 4, and 9?
Move.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. City Clerk, do we have any board appointments?
Yes, thank you, Chair. DC 5, Code Enforcement Board. Commissioner Gabello will be appointing Arnolfo Ramos to the alternate at-large seat held by Martin Silver.
Motion?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
DC 19, Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board. Mayor Suarez will be appointing Javier Lopez.
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes the boards and committees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Now we have our PZ items. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read for the record the titles of those PZ items?
Yes, Madam Chair.
That would be PZ 7, PZ 12.
PZ 6, right? PZ 6.
No, PZ 6 doesn't, the title doesn't need to be read into the record.
Oh, you're right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Chair was 1 deferred.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11. That's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so PZ 7, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, Miami 21 Code, specifically by amending Article 4, Table 3 of the Miami 21 Code titled Standards and Tables, Building Function Uses to permit recreational facility uses and certain community facility uses in CS civic space transect zones by right, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 12, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments, amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, Miami 21 Code, by changing the zoning classification from T624AO, Urban Core Transect Zone Open, to T624BO, Urban Core Transect Zone Open, for the properties generally located at 1317 North Miami Avenue and 1353 North Miami Avenue, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 13, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to section 163.3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from single-family residential and medium-density multifamily residential to medium-density restricted commercial and restricted commercial for the property generally located at 160 Northeast 50 Terrace, 162 Northeast 50 Terrace, 170 Northeast 50 Terrace, 184 Northeast 50 Terrace, 183 Northeast 50 Street, 177 Northeast 50 Street, and 169 Northeast 50 Street, Miami, Florida. Collectively, the property more particularly described in Composite Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 14. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, by changing the zoning classification from T4L General Urban Zone Limited to T50 Urban Center Zone Open for the properties generally located at 5010 and 5040 Northeast 2 Avenue and a portion of 184 Northeast 50 Terrace, Miami, Florida, a change of zoning designation from T4R, General Urban Zone Restricted, to T50, Urban Center Zone Open, for a portion of 184 Northeast 50 Terrace, the west 15.5 feet of Lot 2, Block 7 of the corrected plat of Alta Vista, Miami, Florida, a change of zoning designation from T4R, General Urban Zone Restricted, to T5L, Urban Center Zone Limited for the properties generally located at 162, 170, and a portion of 184 Northeast 50 Terrace, Lot 3, Block 7 of the corrected plat of Alta Vista, Miami, Florida. A change of zoning designation from T4R, General Urban Zone Restricted, to T4L, General Urban Zone Limited for the properties generally located at 169, 177, and 183 Northeast 50th Street, Miami, Florida, and a change of zoning designation from T3L, Suburban Transit Zone Limited, to T4L, General Urban Zone Limited, for the property generally located at 160 Northeast 50 Terrace, Miami, Florida, collectively property as particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings and providing for an effective date. On that one. In addition, a covenant will be provided by the applicant on PZ 14. PZ 15, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to 163.3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from duplex residential to medium-density restricted commercial of the acreage described herein of real property at 55 Northwest 22 Avenue, 2250 Northwest Flagler Terrace, and 2260 Northwest Flagler Terrace, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in the attached and incorporated Exhibit A, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. All right, PZ 16, we have a substitute. I'll read the substituted title. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by changing the zoning classification from T4R, General Urban Transit Zone Restricted, to T5L, Urban Center Zone Limited for the property generally located at 55 Northwest 23 Avenue, 2250 Northwest Flagler Terrace, and 2260 Northwest Flagler Terrace, Miami, Florida, is more particularly described in the attached and incorporated Exhibit A. Further accepting the voluntarily proffered covenant attached and incorporated as Exhibit B, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 17, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to 163.3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from light industrial to restricted commercial of the acreage described herein of real property at 1990 Northwest 27 Avenue, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 18, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, by changing the zoning classification from D1, Workplace District Transect Zone, to T612O, Urban Core Transect Zone Open, of the property generally located at 1990 Northwest 27th Avenue, Miami, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 19, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, specifically by amending Article 7, titled Procedures and Nonconformities, to harmonize the public notice requirements for planning and zoning matters to the language found in Chapter 62 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Article 4, titled Planning and Zoning, Notice Generally, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 20, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, by amending Article 3, titled General to Zones, Section 3.4, titled Density and Intensity Calculations, to clarify density standards in certain transit corridors, and by amending Article 3, titled General to Zones, Section 3.14, titled Public Benefit Program, and Article 5, titled Specific to Zones, Illustration 5.5, titled General Urban Transect Zones, to allow bonus building height within specified transit corridors and transect zones in exchange for affordable workforce housing, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. And that item will be modified to include the PZ recommendations. Okay. I'm told that on PZ 19 there was a substitute, but the title was fine on that one, so you'll have to mention that before voting. PZ 21, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, is amended more particularly by amending Article 1, titled Definitions, to add a definition of portico, amending Article 3, titled General to Zones, to clarify the building and structure heights in the T3 suburban transit zones and floor area for intermediate levels, amending Article 4, titled Standards and Tables, to update setback requirements for ingress control devices, amending Article 5, titled Specific to Zones, to update and simplify regulations related to single-family and two-family homes in the T3 suburban transit zones, and amending Article 7, titled Procedures and Nonconformities, to provide a waiver for raised decks, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. And finally, PZ 22, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, more specifically by amending Article 3, titled General to Zones, to clarify density and intensity calculations, inclusive of right-of-way dedications, and to require provisions of a deed and a survey showing right-of-way dedication since the last recorded plat, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. That is the end of the planning and zoning items.
Thank you. Gentlemen, are there any items on the PZ list that you would like to pull for discussion?
I think 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah. The ones that we stated before.
Any others outside of 7, 8, and 9?
Which are those?
Any other PZ items you want to pull for discussion?
Okay, which ones are we pulling?
7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9. Okay.
We're doing 6, 10, and 12, right, from page 6?
We are going to, if you don't have any, I would ask for a motion to approve PZ 6, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22.
So moved.
Second.
And then, Chair, just for the record, again, PZ 14, 16, 19, and 20 are all amended.
As amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Who would like to start the discussion on PZ7? Vice Chair?
Madam Chair, we've discussed this and discussed this and discussed this. While it's listed as second reading, this is really third reading of this. So I'm ready to vote.
I'd like to discuss it.
No, I'm going to
Okay.
finish.
So, yeah, I just want to do, this morning we heard very clearly part of the issue, which is that there's a master plan from 2008 that was adopted at commission that residents want. They like it. It talks about green and passive space. It talks about wide boardwalks. They saw a gym installed in an area that they did not want it. Because there was a warrant available, they were able to appeal to PZAB. PZAB heard the issue. They were supported by a 7-1 vote. It came to commission. It won at commission by 3-2. There was a ballot measure that was introduced. Now, what they didn't realize with the ballot measure is that there's a state law that says a referendum cannot supersede municipal code. And because there was a lawsuit in between, that did not move forward, and the gym equipment wasn't able to be open. The answer in PZ7 is incredibly flawed because it's asking us to eliminate all the warrants for the parks, with a few exceptions, museums, cultural centers, some other things. But that would mean that anyone in the city of Miami, the residents of the city of Miami, actually loses those rights to appeal if somebody's putting a pickleball court, if somebody's putting a skateboard ramp, something that the residents are just not in favor of. So the solution in PZ7 is incredibly flawed because it impacts all of the residents of the city of Miami. And in fact, people leaving here today would leave with less rights than they did coming here this morning. That's not what we want to do as a commission.
I listened to the public comments and I spoke to our city attorney about that losing of rights. Mr. City Attorney, could you respond to that, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. And I'll probably need assistance from the planning director, but some of the discourse today talked about losing one's civil rights for a park, and I just wanted to sort of calm that down a little bit. Basically, you just have to look at the legislation. What does the legislation do? The legislation removes the requirement for recreational facilities to have a warrant. So what that means is it's a change that if you're building a park in the city of Miami and you want to put a swing set in, you will no longer need a warrant. And whatever recreational facility is defined in Miami 21, that's what it applies to. Now, the other change is community facility. Previously, that required a warrant. Now, a warrant would not be required for a community facility. Imagine a building that is built where people gather to play dominoes or something like that. You wouldn't need a warrant for that. However, if you wanted to turn that building into a library or into a museum, then you would still need to get a warrant. And that's it. That's all it does. And so the public will still have say. There are potentially other opportunities for permits, approvals, variances, et cetera, that depending on what type of park one is building, they would have to go to the planning department and get that information. But this does not divest the public of any and all say regarding parks. And quite honestly, this is not really just about the gym equipment in Museum Park. This is a more broader issue in relation to the ability of the administration to build parks and improve parks in a timely manner.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, if I may,
one last thing I wanted to mention. There was also a comment where somebody indicated that this would eliminate parks, turn parks over into commercial property. And remember, this commission was very, very keen on preserving parks by adopting the no net loss, which basically says if you take away park property, you'll have to replace it with more park property. So if you convert something from a park into a commercial use, then you would have to find another park space equal to that property.
In the warrant process today, it's simply it's a conditional use permit, right? It's a conditional use permit. It's not a mechanism for outreach, or does it require outreach to be done? The warrant does have an appeal process so that in the event that someone doesn't feel that the equipment or whatever is necessary, they can appeal it and go through this process. But the warrant today does not have an outreach, quote unquote, outreach process in place. It's simply there for a conditional use permit.
Mr. City Attorney, both of you actually, this case kind of proves the need to keep the warrants, because you have a park which does not fall into city parks, so the regular standard outreach feedback loop that the city might have established didn't apply. You had people who felt disenfranchised, and they had a mechanism. They were able to present for the mechanism. They were able to file an appeal. They came before us as commission. PZAB sided with them unanimously. The commission voted in their favor. The process worked to preserve that fail-safe for the residents. Now, city may be having very good feedback today, but that may change tomorrow. And what do the residents do if that feedback loop changes, or they have a grievance with a gym or a tennis court or a pickleball court? Where do they go? It's by right. They have no say. So while they may have used the wrong language in saying civil rights or something, what they meant was their right as a resident, as a public resident taxpayer for public space, to speak up and be heard.
Also, there was mention of a master plan in 2008. I wasn't here in 2008, so I did not know about a master plan. I was advised by staff that there was a parks master plan in place from 2023. Is there a difference in these master plans? Like, I don't know that we are holding on to a master plan from more than 10 years ago when you have one that was in 2023. But I do know that, and we don't have Barbie, the city's parks master plan is created with citizen input, correct? Because it troubles me that the public comments were saying that we were taking away our residents' voice. That's troubling to me. I meet with my constituents regularly about what's happening in our parks. In my district, we don't make decisions in a vacuum on what is best for our parks. And gym equipment, which has been my position all along, gym equipment is contemplated in the parks master plan. Now, can you explain to me if there is a difference between the master plan that was mentioned today in 2008 versus the master plan that was done in 2023? And also, after our commission meeting, I spoke to a couple of the residents that got up and spoke. I had the city attorney speak to them, and once we went through this, their position changed because they realized that we are not taking away anyone's right to be heard. That I would never be in favor of taking away someone's right to be heard. I just wouldn't. So can somebody come up and discuss 2008 versus 2023? Because I want the facts. I don't want there to be misinformation. And again, I didn't know about a 2008 master plan. I wasn't
Mayor,
elected then.
Can I respectfully request that before the Parks Director does that, and I think it's important that he does that because I didn't know about the 23 until now. And the 2008 that they kept talking and talking, it was just finally today that I was able to get something that's not quite what they've been saying. And I have been asking for if there was anything in 2008 for some time. Certainly Bayfront Park Trust doesn't have a copy of it. And let me begin, because this is important, that you hear exactly what's in 2008, not what a very minute minority wants to say, and then you could compare it to whatever is in 23. First and foremost, the corporation out of New York, I don't know what we're doing getting a New York firm to come to Miami, since we have very different climates and needs from New York to Miami to come here. But the New York firm that was chosen, it was done in February 24, 2005. The amounts that were told to us today were quite low, what the city paid. The one that wanted this was Mayor Diaz at the time. And correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but from what you gave me, it's $1,583,000 of back in 2005, 6, $7, which today you're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $3 million, if not more, which I don't know where they have their minds at paying this kind of money for anything, and particularly what I see that we've gotten. Now, let me go back. In what was approved, you're the record custodian of the city of Miami, and everything that's approved by the commission here, as is given to the commission, you keep from then after, correct?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
City Clerk? Am I correct that the only thing that you have from the attachments and the exhibits on back in 2008, beginning of 2008, when the city commission dealt with this item in principle? It didn't vote for it per se, it said in principle. And I'm going to get into what in principle means here in a minute. But am I correct that the only thing that you had on the record was this one dark picture? That's what the commission apparently saw?
That is what's in the city clerk's repository. That is the exhibit associated with the resolution regarding Museum Park.
This is the custodian of our records, the city clerk of the city of Miami. And this is the only thing, if you could make out, whatever is here, that he hasn't filed from the record back in early 2008. And let me see what date it was that this was approved. In theory, it was beginning in 2008. So bear with me so I could get the next one here. This is the minutes of that meeting where it said that the city commission was adopting this resolution approving in principle the master plan. March 13th, 2008. But this was from back in 05. We're looking at something that's about 20 years old. The handful of people that were here, I doubt if any of them even lived in the city of Miami then. I'm sure they were in New York or somewhere else. I know the person that owned all the land across the street. Every last inch of all that land where those big buildings are at today. His name is Hank Sofer. He's the one that introduced me to the gentleman that's going to make America great again, beginning January 20th. A fellow New Yorker. And he never talked to me about any of these ideas that are coming up now. But let me go back to what the Coopers and Robertson partners that did this plan, whatever it is, stated in some of the papers that I think came from planning. Is that correct? That you gave me, that you found there?
There was a PowerPoint presentation from, I believe, 2007 that I provided.
Please listen to this because I think this is going to explain a lot. They say the design was programmed to accommodate both active and passive. They've been telling you up to now that the only thing that was done was for a passive park. A passive park. It says here the design was programmed to accommodate both active and passive recreation with play fields, playgrounds, and native planting fields with meandering pathways. I just got this today to look at. This is not what we have been told as the Bible.
Madam Chair.
Now, no, sir, I'm speaking now. What this in theory means? Well, it means without necessarily committing to all the specifics or details of implementing something. Now, it gets better. This gym area is around 3,000 square feet in a park land that's got, taking the museums out of the equation, approximately, give or take, 900,000 square feet of land. However, the clerk found these renderings that are not what you're supposed to get for $1,583,000, $3 million or more today's dollars. And what does this show me? Surprise, surprise. They got a big restaurant in here. This is your so-called master plan. Big restaurant. It's got another big building here. What do they call it, Will? A pavilion, a big pavilion. Between the land footprint of the big restaurant by the water in the slip and the pavilion, it's around the size of the Paris Museum. Well, maybe this is what we got to do. Build the restaurant, build the pavilion, and forget about the 3,000 square foot gym in there, that tiny little gym. It gets even better. The slip, they got all kinds of islands running around and connected in the slip, and a small little highway going from Miami Arena side, or the Heat side, to Foray Park, which means we're going to do away with that waterway. Then, what I find in here that Chairwoman, I'll show this to you because the only thing that this gives me the impression of what it is, since there's nothing here that says what it is, you know those waves that you find in different party places in Florida, like up in Tampa, Busch Gardens, those waves that come like that and you jump in there, or up in Palm Beach, one of those wave places. That's what it looks like. Look at it. I don't know. Maybe it's something else, but it seems like you got people inside there. You got other people standing like on the side like a beach. So I cannot for the life of me, to this day, believe or understand how individuals have made into a crusade worse than the Islamics over there in the Middle East, and the way they're coming at me and others because of this. Because we want to put a tiny outdoor gym like some 40-plus parks in the city of Miami have. And what they're trying to avoid and not bring up in any way is that 80% of the people of Miami agreed that they wanted the gym there. But of course, the question was misleading. What we put down was not true. And as you stated very elegantly, Chairwoman, at the last meeting, what is misleading about the question? It was straightforward. I should have frankly gone out and campaigned for it. I didn't. Not until the night before the election that I was invited to a TV station that I spoke on it. But I should have, because they used, Mr. Pardo used me to try to get votes against it, make it into a referendum
Madam Chair.
against me.
I'd like to reply.
No, sir. Well, you can reply when I'm done. Okay? You're not in Rodriguez Tejeda's radio station right now. And by the way, he's up the air by January 6th. Oh, yeah, like you don't care?
Yeah.
That's where you bashed Mr. Gabela, your chairwoman, and myself, like you don't know. Bottom line is that if they want to talk about master plans, let's talk about whatever was given to the city for $1,583,000 by this New York firm that wanted a big restaurant in the park, wanted a huge pavilion to sell I don't know wanted what appeared was one of those wave things with water, with a beach at the end, wanted to undo the big slip with all kinds of islands and connections and what have you, and more stuff that you can't tell what's in there. Now, I think it'd be good to find out what 23 said, but going back 20 years ago, we don't have nearly the population of 20 years ago today in downtown Miami. The population exploded in downtown Miami. The population of Miami exploded. 20 years ago, Miami was a little over 300,000. We're getting close to 500,000 people today. You cannot tell me that any master plan that is made for whatever is made has to be written in stone forever, no matter what changes come to a community or a city. The answer to why they didn't want the gym? We have a gym in our building. Well, the two precincts right across the street that cover all the buildings in front of Maurice Ray Park, one voted 80% for the gym to stay. The other voted around 60% for the gym to stay. And that's with a full campaign where Mr. Pardo was asking for contributions to the PAC that he created to do a campaign. And that's with him having recruited the 6 people that filed the lawsuit, and he told them not to worry, that he would open up a PAC, which he did, and they would pay the attorney, which is how the attorney that's sitting out there for them is getting paid, through the PAC that Mr. Pardo has raised the money for. So let's stop the hypocrisy here. You know, the residents of Miami express themselves. We should respect those residents. A minority, a tiny minority, this is not Russia, this is not China, this is not Iran. A tiny minority does not dictate to the majority, not in a democracy.
Mr. I had asked.
No, I mean, he invoked my name. I think I should be able to respond right now before we lose track of everything that he's, right? Okay.
I just wanted.
Thank you. No, but
my question,
I get it, but I
go right ahead.
Before
go,
I lose
go,
track,
go,
because otherwise
go,
it's
no,
not
no,
fair.
I'm saying,
You're putting me at a disadvantage.
Go right ahead. No, go right ahead.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
First of all, I would never bash my colleagues. I realize that for some people the truth hurts. The truth in this case is that residents have been trying to reach you. They have been trying to communicate all these things that are coming through our office to you. If you had heard them a little bit, you would have known about the 2008 master plan. You would have known that Savino Miller did an update to that plan, comprehensive, that they have read and researched. They're not just picking little people and beaches, and they didn't just find this now. They have diligently done their homework. They're not a handful of people, they're a community. I have, a petition with 760 people on it. They go to the forums, they speak out, even today. It is humiliating, denigrating, and wrong to treat people this way. They don't deserve to be treated this way. And that's what they keep coming to us to say. And I think we need to listen to them. About the ballot election, yes, there was an election. When I looked at it, precinct 980, ballot lost. There were a few where they were tied. There were 27,000 people that voted. 27 in favor, 7,000 against out of 2.5 million people. So take that for whatever it's worth. But the residents deserve to be heard. They've been trying for a very long time, and I think if Commissioner Carollo would open his door and listen a little bit and bring people in, we wouldn't even be here.
Chair, if I could have a quick minute rebuttal.
Okay.
Just a quick rebuttal. I've listened to
Can
everybody.
we just have the Parks Director answer me on the 2008 master plan and the 2023 master plan? Can I just get an answer for that?
Good afternoon, Chris Evans, Parks and Recreation Director. The 2023 master plan is what I have the information on as far as the community engagement we did. For the master plan, it's more of a global master plan for our entire park system for 154 different parks. We got public input from about 36,000 residents, which made it statistically valid for what we're trying to accomplish. It does mention in different sections of the master plan what different amenities go in different parkland. It doesn't go park by park. We work with all the district offices to schedule meetings to discuss specific parks.
Commissioner Gabello.
What did you say, Chris?
Which part?
I don't know. You went so quick.
Trying to get out of the light here. It was statistically valid. 36,000 residents completed our master plan from throughout the city. It doesn't go into directly into one-in-one. He was just kidding. Survey? Statistically valid survey, yes, for the entire city. So it didn't go into direction on each individual part. We work with the commission offices to discuss those.
What was the survey all about, or?
What amenities they would want in each park, it ranked a high priority, low priority, which different amenities, different programmings that we need. Broke it down citywide and by districts in the master plan.
Thank you, Chris.
You gentlemen done?
I just had a question for him.
Chris?
Yes, does your park master plan, the 2023, include Maurice Ferre Park?
No.
No. And there was no outreach ever done to those communities in downtown? From
Yes,
the list
all
that I
communities.
saw.
All communities throughout the city.
And you included downtown communities?
Yes, sir.
And where did outdoor gym rank in your high priorities?
Outdoor exercise equipment was
For that
medium
kind of
priority.
park? For that kind of park?
Outdoor exercise equipment is in as a preferred amenity in all of our different types of.
Not in that kind, not in the master plan I saw. It wasn't listed in the higher priorities at all. A mid-level priority was an indoor gym.
I'm going to page here 139, and then outdoor fitness medium priority.
Outdoor fitness?
Yes.
Okay, like yoga, classes outside.
And
Because you had an indoor gym, there was no outdoor gym.
Understood.
That didn't show anywhere. And to know that Maurice Ferre Park is not even included in the plan significantly changes it, and this is what the downtown residents are complaining about, that they have not been included in this process. The kind of outreach that you're doing for the parks like Morningside, Margaret Pace, everything, those are not being done for Bayfront Park Trust, and that's what they keep time and time again stressing.
Chair,
Oh, hold on a second.
he
I
keeps
believe
saying
Commissioner
that they were not included, and that's not true. And we have shown proof that they were included.
Chris said that the District 2 residents were included in the contemplation of the master plan. You just said that, correct?
I did, and the only thing I added is the outdoor fitness, just by national standards, includes different types of programming, different types of equipment. It didn't go to that level as far as exercise equipment.
Did you include the names of every park in the city?
Yes, sir.
Not
Commissioner
Maurice Ferre.
Cabela?
Okay, so we've beaten this horse to death, okay? A lot of us, I'm tired for once, not of doing my job, because this is what I signed up for, but I'm tired of hearing the same thing over again. Let's simplify it. The way this started out is, we had the warrant thing, okay? He outwitted you guys, like I said before. We went to the voter. He went to the voter. And the problem is, for me, for somebody like me, is that you're saying one thing, but then there's the other. On the other side, you got 80% of the people that said, yes, we want this. This is the main problem for me.
Can I address?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you said he outwitted, he didn't outwit.
Well,
Well, let me just make the clarification. There's a state law that says a referendum can't supersede municipal code. And that's why we're here. Because otherwise the gym equipment would have been open.
but here's the other thing that you guys and people keep saying, that they're not being heard to. The way it was expressed to me, the warrant system works to people that are around the area, the ones that are going to be mostly affected.
Right.
But everybody outside of that, 90% of the other people are not going to get a say. Those are the only guys that are going to get a say. That to me, is not fair also. I understand, but I don't understand, because when you say, these people are coming and they demand, and what about the other, the layer outside of that, which is 90% of the people that make up, that layer. You know what I mean?
If you eliminate warrants, nobody will get a say.
But here's the thing, because I asked, and I got a little bit educated on this. The warrant that he's talking about, okay, we're not going to take, all warrants away. And there are multiple uses that warrants will remain the way it was explained to me. Is that not right, Wysong? That we had this discussion yesterday, that there are in the tens of probably hundreds of that warrants will remain in effect. The only thing that will change is that from now on, the exercise equipment and the use of a
Community facility.
community are the only ones that are not going to be required warrants. Everything else is still going to require warrants. Period. End of story. That's what I was told. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So this is specific to the warrant for recreation facilities in CS. and community facilities in CS.
Right, but that means if it's a tennis court or a pickleball court, it's not just
Basketball
gym.
court.
It's not just gym equipment.
It's
That's what I'm trying to explain. It's not just skateboard ramp. It's anything in any park in the entire city of Miami.
great. There's another piece of this that hasn't really been talked about, but there are specific development requirements for our CS. So only 25% of that CS space can be built on. All right? So the rest of the space is reserved for the open space.
Let me ask a legitimate question. Let me ask you a legitimate question, Commissioner Pardo. Okay, are we talking here that the problem right here, because this is what I've even considered. Why don't we just grandfather the gym over here and then not do anything in the warrants? Why can't we do it the other way around? Is there another way? You know, if legitimately you want to protect the warrants, and he, you know, I think he had a vote and he got 80%. I still remain with that. The problem for me is I was with you in the beginning, man. You know, but I'm not going to go against 80% of the people that voted. I'm not going to do that.
I would choose
whichever
to
way it
protect-
whichever way it happened, whether the sky was blue that day or it was, you know, whatever, it ain't going to happen with me. I respect the voter. That's why when it came to the, you know, I listen, and when I got to back up my, you know, my car, I back up my car. It happened with me with the retirement thing. You know, I realized I didn't want that to make noise. I had other important stuff to get done from my district, and I backed up my car and I withdrew. Right? Okay, you guys are locked in Horn. Okay, you're locked. You know, we've been having this for I don't know how long, to the end of time, and I think today we should draw this to an end. For me, I want to get his gym equipment open, and I want to protect your warrants. That's what I want to do. Period. End of story. Okay, and
Then
let's
we have-
take that vote. You know, whichever.
All right, we
Do
have
I
two other
a mo-
items.
Hold on a second. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I have a motion. I'll make it simple. I have a motion to open the gym equipment. Okay, I am not. If I am not in favor of removing the warrants. Okay, period. For me.
That would be the other two items then.
The
The
last-
reconsideration.
Okay, so
Would that take care of your problem, Commissioner?
no, the city attorney.
I don't know if they're trying to lead you out into a different path.
Right.
So they could keep playing the game in court and keep spending money.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, I'd love nothing more than to snap my fingers and say, remove the fence, open up the park, whatever. But we're trying to do it the right way, and we've been in litigation, and while the court has, while 80% of the population, the voting population, has said that the gym equipment should stay, the appropriate way to open it is by adopting PZ7.
And there's no way to do it without eliminating warrants for the whole city.
Well, and mind you, that sounds terrible. The only way to open up the gym equipment is by eliminating warrants. We're only talking about 2 warrants that really are 1.5 warrants, really, because it's the one relating to recreational equipment and half of the warrant relating to the community facilities.
And the other side, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but real quick, the other side is that you are afraid that it gets open and then they go to court, right? Is this correct?
Well,
Right.
they're going to keep
And that's why we're
making
doing
the
the other
city
thing. Yes,
spend all
wait a minute.
kinds of money.
Yes. Well, let me ask you a question. If we guaranteed that the warrants were not going to be removed and his gym equipment is going to be installed, would you guys remove the lawsuit and that's it? Everybody's happy. We don't spend any
why
more
don't they
money.
just-
We save the money. We save the city money because this is costing us money also, right, on our side to counter this situation.
But Commissioner, hear what the city attorney said. All the other warrant process are going to stay, with the exception.
No, I heard that part.
You know,
I got that
minute.
part.
And you know what bothers me is they want it both ways. How many times until I brought this up today, that I just found it today, were they saying that there was this master plan? We have to follow the master plan. Well, damn it, let's follow the master plan right here. Let's put the restaurant. Let's put the big, huge house that they want in there, the pavilion. Let's put, the waving waters in there. Let's fill the slip up with islands and walkways and driveways.
Let me.
All of a sudden they stopped talking about that when I brought this up.
I believe that we have, the city manager wants to weigh in, please. I'm sorry.
Can they just apply for a new warrant?
Madam Chair, and I'll be brief. So the PC7, which is the item that we're hearing specifically right now, right, addresses the issue of whether we remove warrants specifically for those two specific uses. Philosophically, from a staff perspective, we think it's warranted. No pun intended. But I think that from a standpoint of public input, the problem is you don't govern based on the issue of the gym equipment in Maurice Ferre Park or not, because that's the anomaly, right? That's not the regular set of circumstances. Every time we build a park or we rebuild a park, we have a considerable amount of public input, right? We have community meetings. At community meetings, we get a lot of input from the community as it relates to how a particular park is programmed. Each and every one of you have experienced that, right? And so PZ7 is about good public policy, right? Of which I think it is. I think the concern is we've bled Maurice Ferre Park into that discussion, and I think that's part of the issue. I think, I certainly stand behind in support of PZ7 because as a general rule, it's good public policy. I think the warrant process is cumbersome as it relates to those particular uses, and public input is garnered in every park we build. So I just wanted to kind of point that out because I think sometimes we get caught in this idea. We've been so focused on the gym equipment, which is obviously a significant issue, but that's an issue for 8 and 9. It's not really an issue of good public policy. I know it's hard for everybody to sort of untangle that a little bit, but
Not for me.
I know, but I think sometimes it's difficult. If we could, that's what I'm trying to implore you to do. If we can't get there, we can't get there. But I wish we would focus on PZ7 on the merit.
Got an idea. Let's take a vote on PZ7. Let's do 7, and then we'll talk about 8 and 9. Let's do that.
I have a motion.
Can't we just apply for a new warrant?
Hold on. And I want to make this point for what the manager just said. Over in District 5, Legion Park, we have tennis courts. We have a robust tennis program. There were some folks that wanted to put a pickleball court. Well, my neighbors said no. And we didn't put a pickleball court because you do have input. You do have a voice. You have a voice with these parks. I have a motion and a second for PZ7.
Oh, no, Chair. Chair.
Wait,
so
who?
Commissioner Cora is the mover. Who's the seconder?
Commissioner Gabella?
PZ7 as is.
As is.
Understood.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
3-1 with Commissioner Pardo voting no.
Okay. Do we want to discuss PZ? We have PZ8 for discussion.
I would recommend that we defer 8 and 9.
Okay, I make a motion that we defer 8 and 9.
Let's say to January 23rd.
Okay.
January 23rd. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
No. Okay.
Chairwoman?
So deferred. Was anything else pulled in the PZs for discussion?
Why don't we withdraw it?
If I may
8 and 9.
bring up the master plan again so that there's no mistake. The master plan that they want us to implement, again, talks about the design was programmed to accommodate both active and passive recreation, not passive only like they were saying. And he says with play fields. Play fields. Now, play fields are soccer fields. It could mean maybe pickleball courts, but I pledge, since to some there pickleball courts is evil, I pledge that at least with my vote, I will not bring up pickleball courts at Maurice Ferre. Soccer, that's a different story. Our community needs and wants soccer. And since no one's had the guts, nobody worries about that, to take on the Miami Heat on the 5 acres in Parcel B that they were supposed to have made into soccer fields, and that's how they went out to get the vote. There needs to be some areas that people could do pick-up soccer. They're doing it now in Maurice Ferre. Frankly, it's not as safe as it should be because the ground is not level, there's no drainage, And that's something that hopefully soon we will get fixed. But even though your master plan says that that's what we should do, I'll tell you now, I'm not going to go for pickleball courts.
Commissioner Pardo?
Madam Chair, just to clarify, the active is behind the arena, and I think he's just working off of old plans. He's never seen the updated plan.
Now they're
So,
old plans.
just for the record, I did want that to be known.
Now they're old plans.
All right. We pulled,
Oh,
FR1, FR2.
I'm going front and then back. PH5 was pulled. I don't remember which one of you pulled PH5. Do we still have any questions about PA5? Are we ready to move on it?
hold on, let me go to it. We were having so much fun that I forgot what PH5 was all about.
When do we pull PH5?
I think you pulled it. RLA.
No, we would.
No, I asked for it to be
Okay.
pulled. And I figure that Commissioner Pardo would be the one pulling it, but since he hasn't.
I don't have any questions.
Maybe I could help him out, because he's the one that's set against 4/5 votes, unless, I guess it only comes to Bayfront Park that you're against, right?
No, sir, you're misrepresenting my
No.
comments.
No, I'm not misrepresenting
I actually had a
your comments.
conversation with them about
I'm not
the limited
misrepresenting
scope
your
for
comments.
this facility.
That's the only thing you ever
I would appreciate it if you don't misrepresent my comments. You're no one to misrepresent my
Bayfront
comments.
Park, Bayfront
What are you guys
Park.
talking about?
Unfortunate.
I'm sorry. I missed. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
This
I will
PH5,
PH5.
let me give you a little history on this.
Okay.
This is the old hut that was called, and for decades, no?
No, this is in the Marine Stadium Marina. The administrative office is in a small blue building. There's a little bit of a surplus square footage that our staff.
In the actual stadium,
No.
Within the marina, within the fence of the marina.
okay?
Yeah.
So that old lease, that's
No.
month to month, do we still have that, or
No,
was that
no,
taken out?
they were evicted.
Okay.
They were
for
evicted.
All right.
surfboard
They were
business.
evicted from that space.
All right, so this is in the marina side.
Surfboard business, right? This is
Yeah.
surfboard business.
I'm glad that was cleared out. Look, I don't mind a business like this,
Yes.
but why can't we do a quick bid on it?
Well,
Not
we-
that big of a thing.
Understood, Commissioner. So, we had the space appraised, and the appraisals came back, and these folks were willing to pay the.
I understand all
appraised
that, but
price.
see,
yes.
if you would come to Bayfront Park Trust, and we have some space there
Yeah.
that we could give you, and we would do the same thing, Mr. Pardo would be accused in the trust, and me in particularly, of all kinds of things. All kinds of stuff. And this is the hypocrisy that I'm pointing out.
Madam Chair.
This is the hypocrisy that I'm pointing out. And you can Madam Chair her all you want, but you know what? I'm the one you're going to have to deal with.
I'm
And
not scared of you.
I'm not putting up.
I'm not scared of you.
Oh, Mr. Pardo, I know you're a tough guy.
Commissioner.
Pharaoh told me about how tough you were.
Commissioners,
Can we
please.
take a vote on PH5?
Are we finished with the discussion, Commissioner
Yeah, I think
Pardo?
we are.
Yeah.
Are you finished,
What
Commissioner?
I'm asking
What
is
I'd like-
simply
what I'd like to
be
say-
put to a quick bid, and whoever wins it, I'll vote for it.
What I'd like to say is that at no time am I attacking Commissioner Carollo.
Of course
At
not.
no time am I attacking.
Of course
I'm
not.
simply representing residents in my area. That's it. It's
Yeah,
that simple.
of course not, Commissioner.
So,
And we'll soon show you how you're not attacking me and how you're representing
Right.
the residents in your area.
You're just paranoid.
all right.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah, I'm
this
paranoid.
vote requires a 4/5.
So what I would recommend, if the commissioner's uncomfortable with the idea that we just are leasing it, and it's a very, very small space, obviously, which is why we didn't put it out for bid. But if he's concerned about that and he wants to have it bid, we're not going to have the votes to approve it anyway. So we'll have to come back and.
But isn't that the whole reason we're having a 4/5 vote because of it?
Yeah, because we
Right,
didn't.
Okay, so I motion to move it. Is there anybody?
Second.
Hold on. If we're going to not have 4/5, there's no point in voting for it.
All right, so motion fails, then,
Okay.
He might.
motion to defer. or a motion
No,
to,
we could take the vote. If we take the vote
Took
and
the
it
vote
fails,
already.
then it goes
he's
out
not,
to
he's
bid.
not gonna do it, so we don't have the 4/5. Right?
Correct, I'm not going to vote for it.
All right, so the motion to defer to what you,
To- So let's just
Sorry.
let's take the vote. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
aye.
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 No. 3, 4, it fails. Okay. RE12. Commissioner Gabella, I think you pulled RE12.
I think it was Carollo or it was me.
You pulled it, but I was going to
I
ask
got
for
questions.
it to be pulled
Whoever
also.
pulled it.
Okay, so
Well, let me tell you the problem that I have with it. Andrew.
RE12.
We discussed
Yes.
during my briefing.
RE12.
We're
this is-
approving,
The underdeck.
no, this is not the underdeck. This is monies. What, yeah, this the, I'm sorry, this is the underdeck.
Yes.
Yes, never mind. I thought it was something else that I missed it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Commissioner
We can vote on
Gabella?
it. I'll make the motion on it.
So just wanted
Thank you.
Just want to know what the, I'm sorry, the problem is, I had the briefing with you guys yesterday. I usually write notes to be ready, and then I left it at home, so I got a new. So how much was this, what I want to ask, how much was this again that we were?
This is $10.8 million in total of the city's contribution to the Underdeck. The total budget for the Underdeck is $80 million. $60.3 million is coming from the federal grant, $11.5 million coming from the state of Florida, and the city's contribution is 10.8.
And the 10.8 is coming what, Larry, from the general pot?
So this is coming, the agreement before you today gives us until July of 2026 to figure out where it's coming from. The concept is that the amount would be split 3 ways between the city and the 2 CRAs. But this gives us a year and a half to work out the details of that.
So this gives us another vote before it's final?
This would,
No,
this
no.
would be,
It's
no,
just
this,
to find the money. No,
it's
it's just to find the money.
not
And
understanding.
the
Commissioner?
Southeast Overtown,
Now you got to split it 4 ways for Alapata.
the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA has committed, the Omni CRA has committed, so there isn't that, the delta isn't that great because we've already committed from the 2 CRAs
Okay, so the 10.8 is coming from the CREs?
and the city.
and the city.
A third, a third, and
A
a third.
third,
Okay.
a third, and a
A
third.
third and third. So
Roughly.
333 from you, 333 from yours.
Probably a
and
little bit more from
somewhere
me.
in there? Okay, no, I vote against it. I vote against it on principle until the Alapata Omni CRE is established. Now, January, February,
We don't even have a resolution. I mean, I haven't been briefed on this, so
Okay.
there's nothing.
No, it's here.
There's nothing, yeah, but there's nothing there.
oh, that's why I asked,
Right.
is this going to be
He's
final? I
A
mean,
year and a half
Right.
to.
Exactly.
So, okay, I have a motion and a second. A motion,
okay, so I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah.
Is this final?
the amount.
This would approve the
The
city.
amount.
This would approve a city entering into an agreement with FDOT for the total contribution amount, and it would give
Right.
us an additional 18 months to figure out the details of
Where
how
the
to
money
put
But it
that,
approves it.
how to cobble that together.
Got it.
Yes.
I'm voting no.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Motion
No.
carries. What?
No.
Okay.
I would,
We'll come back.
I would politely ask that we redo it so then we could defer it for the next meeting. That's what I was going to ask.
Okay. Motion for reconsideration.
Motion
So
for
my apologies.
reconsideration.
Wait, RE12 was 2-2?
Yeah.
Yes.
The motion for reconsideration.
So now a motion for reconsideration.
Second.
Who's the mover on the reconsideration?
I am.
And he's the second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I'll make a motion to defer to the next meeting.
To the second meeting in January.
Second meeting, January.
Second meeting in January. I think, Mr. Springs, do you have something to add? Oh, this is time sensitive, guys, and I don't want to get caught in the springs of whatever is going on here, because if I have to give all the money from the Overtown CRA, I will. This Underdeck project
Larry.
is important, and if we don't pass this legislation, we're in jeopardy of losing the $60 million that we got
Larry.
from the federal government. Mr. Springs.
Can this wait to the first meeting instead of the second meeting?
No, we need to sign before December 31st.
Why?
That's why. Because that's what the
Because
federal
we're
government is
right,
requiring.
the federal
government's
they're
requiring
going
it
to
for
take
that
their money back
allocation.
from us unless you call your friend, because we have to say that we have
You want to come with me on the 20th?
I will if I have to. Because this is important. We have to get this space right. And I don't want us to lose a $60 million grant because we cannot get along.
Can I say my piece? Can I just talk?
You can.
All right. So, I wish that when this thing that we're doing with the CRA, I had the federal government deadlines to, because so all of a sudden, when something like this, there's a deadline. There's a deadline. You know what I mean? I've been waiting, I don't know how many months for my stuff to get done here for the CRA, and we've been on that for 4 months, and it's supposed to be done in January and February. You know what I mean? So as for me, I will still vote no. Okay, and I already said why. That is where I'm at. You guys know where I'm at. You know what I mean? And this is the reason. I have no choice because,
Commissioner Gabello,
things start getting
I
done.
understand.
But in my area, nothing gets done.
I understand,
So, no.
Commissioner Gabello, but
Yes, ma'am.
let me just say this. To punish
It's not
others,
punishing.
it is punishment because you're putting us in jeopardy of losing a $60 million grant.
So I'm going to be the bad guy.
You
I'm going
are
to be
the
the
bad
bad
guy
guy.
right
Make me
now.
the bad guy. Miami Herald, make me the bad guy right
Okay.
now. Okay, make me the bad guy right now.
It's
okay,
fine.
but then I'll tell
It's
you why I'm.
fine.
Then I'll tell you why I'm doing
It's
it.
fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
But ma'am, just like you're talking, I'm talking. This is what I'm going to
But
say.
you
I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to end it with this. No, wait a minute. I'm a
We
commissioner.
understand. You
I'm,
wanna
no,
have-
I'm
you
a
wanna
commissioner
CRA
like
and
yourself.
avocado. We
I am a
get it.
commissioner like yourself, and I'm talking. And when I'm talking, people will respect me. Like I've shut up and put up with 10, 15 minutes of Carollo and the gentleman here,
But
whatever.
are
So
you
now
gonna
I'm going
say
to finish.
anything new
You let me know
other
when I
than
can
you're
finish.
against it?
But I
You're
will
not going to
finish.
say anything new other than you're against it.
That's
Then,
my
okay,
problem.
that's
He's not-
fine. We respect how you feel.
Okay, all right,
We
but
just
let me-
don't have to hear it 100 times.
You're right.
We res-
I've heard 100 times Carollo say stuff for 20 minutes here. What about that?
You're right.
But now me
You're
all of a
right.
sudden I got a
You're
problem.
right.
I'm
You're
in and
right.
out. When I
So
say something, I'm in and out.
Let's be bigger. Let's be bigger.
Okay, let's be bigger than that. Then here's the deal. Okay, right now you're saying we're in a big problem of losing the $60 million, and it's because of Gabello's fault.
It is
Fine.
not because of you.
Okay.
It is
If I
not
may
because of you.
finish. If I may finish.
It was 2-2. It's not because of you. It's not because of you.
I don't care if it is because of me. I don't care if it is because of me. It's what you guys don't understand from me. Okay, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Right now, yesterday, I had a briefing where in my district, beds are not available. Okay, because somebody's not negotiating with somebody. Monies are needed for beds because I have a homeless situation in District 1, and nobody cares about that. But this has got to be done because then we'll lose the $60 million. What about my people? What about District 1? When do I get done? When do I get money to take care of that situation? That's all I'm saying to you guys, and I've been saying it for 5 or 6 months. So from now on, until my stuff is resolved in District 1 that we've been taken for granted for a very long time and dumped on, and the example is right now Camilo's house was built in our area, and Camilo's house is not taking people. You know why they're not taking people? Because they can't settle on money. It's about money right now. So when my officers pick up a homeless, they don't have anywhere to take them. They don't have anywhere to take him. I spoke to Rodriguez 3 days ago. We're just shuffling them around. So no, you know what? Lose the $60 million. Because you know what? I'm losing a lot more than that. My constituents are losing a lot more than that. They call me. I got a big problem. You guys have known it for 5 or 6 months, and we keep delaying and delaying. So that's my vote. Thank you very much. I'm done. No.
And for the record, I did not vote for the extension of the Omni CRA because I support you and your Alapata CRA. Just for the record. So there's no reason.
It's taking long.
It's
taking a long time.
There's no reason.
No, there is, because this is the only
But-
leverage I got to make you
my
guys
point-
understand that something needs to happen here.
My point is that I support you. I support
Okay,
you.
thank
I
you.
support your, because there were votes to extend the Omni CRA. And I understood your argument, and I voted with you because I know that Alapata needs the assistance that you are seeking. So I get it.
Okay, thank you.
Is your vote still the way you're? Okay, so
Madam Chair.
I have to take Larry at his word, so I will have to change my vote. I think you saw that I was backing you, Commissioner Gavella, just like I have backed you with Chairwoman King on not extending the CRA. And as I've stated here, I've shown the kind of money that we could get for the Alapata CRA to make a real impact, not to throw a bone at you of $10 million or whatever, but to make a real impact. But I can't mix it now with this, and I respect your opinion, so please understand, why we're voting for it.
I just want you guys to realize something. You guys tell me all this. Meanwhile, I've made all kinds of offers to the, what I call the Gavella proposal for the Omni/Alapata CRA. Has the other side come back? Has anybody come back to me and said, no, we're going to take it from here, and we're going to do this? Has that happened, Larry, up until now? So at first it was supposed to be January, and then you guys said no, now it's February, right? But on the other side, has anybody, I've given all types of reasons and numbers on how we can do this. Has anybody from the other side, I repeat and I ask, come back to me and said, hey, here's where we're going to do this, and we're going to, Mr. Pardo, have you said to me, hey, we're going to give you this, and we're going to try to help you out with this? Has that happened? No.
I can't.
You can't, okay. Well, there you go. I can't do this.
No.
Does that make sense?
Commissioner Pardo,
Can we
need
just
to withdraw your motion to defer so we could take it up?
No,
again?
it was Commissioner Correo.
Yeah, it's withdrawn.
And can I have a motion?
The motion to approve.
Can I just ask, can we do a directive to the administration to expedite the Alapata CRA?
Well, we are
They
expediting
are
it.
expediting.
We literally have a
Okay.
kickoff
So let me-
meeting.
It's already?
And because,
All
yeah,
right.
we're in the process of doing it. It doesn't,
saying.
unfortunately,
Okay.
it's a little bit of a lengthy process. It doesn't, it is,
So
but,
can,
and
can I just get
I
the
would
vote?
offer,
Can I just get the vote?
Sure.
So I have a motion
No, hang
and
on a
a
minute.
second.
We need a second.
Hang on a minute. Give me a minute.
Second.
Can you give me a minute to negotiate here? Give me a minute. So let me ask you this. Larry, give me a date concrete. Mr. Pardo, give me a date concrete when this is going to be taking a vote, and you guys are going to say, we're taking the money from here, we're doing this, these are the terms, and let's get this done. Give me a date. Don't tell me I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, give me a date, a solid date, just like you guys need for this right here. I need it also for my area. Please, give me a date, Larry.
Give me 1 second.
Chair, in the meantime, is there a second to Commissioner Correo's motion to pass RE 12?
Second.
Thank you.
Can I take the vote? Because he's still a no. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion
but
passes.
for purposes of his concerns, I
No,
really
I'm
want us to
gonna-
answer the
yeah,
question
no,
because.
we're going to answer his
'cause-
question, and I
'cause
feel
he's-
like that's fair, but
No, it is, and he's genuinely concerned over the timeliness of it, and we need to.
Chair,
I've been patient here.
For the record, the motion passes 3-1 with Commissioner Gabella voting no.
It passes. You don't need a 4/5. No. Why didn't you guys say that? Huh? I'd like to be with you, but I need stuff to get done in my area, and I'd like to have a date certain, not a date tomorrow, not a date, La La Land. No, a date. On such a date, we're going to do this and we're going to do that.
Commissioner Gabella,
Yes, ma'am.
you do realize you need 2 other votes to get what you need done.
How many times have I voted to help you
but
guys
I'm
out,
with
everybody?
you. I
How
am
many
with
times
you.
have I done that?
I am
How many
with
times
you.
did I vote with you in the beginning? How many times have I voted with you guys? Because I'm not here to make trouble, but I'm here to get things done for my district, and things will be done for my district like it is for him, like it is for you, and like it is for you, sir, with all due respect. Okay, I'm tired of waiting around. We've been at this for 4 or 5 months talking about, and still, I say again, has anybody come back to me, Mr. Pardo, and said, hey, you know what, Gabella, out of what you're asking, I can do this, we can do that? No, nothing. Never did you guys ask me once, hey, I'm curious, Gabella, what is your plan? Well, my plan was actually half the land mass, less than 40% of the land mass originally.
You do know we
I'm
cannot
happy to
speak to you
support-
about this
right.
without being on. You know we can't talk to you. We literally cannot talk to you about this unless we're at the commission
No, at
meeting.
sunshine meetings I'm talking about, ma'am. I called for sunshine meetings 4 months ago, and nobody wanted to come to my sunshine meeting. The sunshine meeting that everybody participated because I did it 3 times, and we put it on the record and we put it on email. Is this true, Larry, or is this not true? That I asked for a sunshine meeting? No. They're asking, is it true or is it not true?
It is true.
It's true. Okay, so I've been trying to resolve this issue, but nobody came to the sunshine meeting because it wasn't important maybe to you guys, but it was important to me. I listened to you guys when it's important to you.
I agreed to go to it, but it was canceled.
It was canceled.
But I agreed
we
to
couldn't
go.
do me and you couldn't do it because we didn't have a quorum. But I've been at this for 4 or 5 months. Okay, 4 or 5 months I've been at this. Give me a date certain that we're going to have this done, please, and I will be happy.
I'm happy to support you and do anything possible. Anything. So, through staff?
When, Larry? Yeah.
Larry, don't give him a date.
No, I'm not.
Just to give him a
I'm
date.
not going to.
You know you cannot give him a date.
If you guys, through the chair, if you allow me, please, Commissioner, on the record, I've been meeting with you and I've been engaging with you weekly with regards to this situation. The consultant from Business Flair has been hired. You and I have actually exchanged, or your staff has exchanged emails about your public meetings. I have the Gantt chart on the actual date. We'll have everything finished, all the steps, and to the county commission. So, because it's not just us. I can't pull it up on my phone because of the type of file it is, but I will make sure you have it. And we've already started pulling the internal data, the police calls, all that stuff. So we are absolutely in the middle of working. It is being done. And I think I've given you my personal professional word on this.
Here's what I'm going to say to you that I'm scared of. People are sending people over. I'm not going to mention names. Okay, and they continue for 3 months. They've been at this 4 months, continue to ask me what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, this and that. Like if you're going to give a little kid a candy, and then you're asking him how you're going to chew it and when he's going to throw it away. Right. And I've said to the other side, and I get the feeling, but they never go where they should go because Larry, you can't make the choice for him.
Right.
Okay, I can't make the choice for her. He's got to make the choice. He's got to get on the negotiating table here, like I have, and I've come forward and said, give me this here. What about that? Can you do this? Can you do that? That's called negotiating. Okay. Yes. The other side has not come to the table yet, and you know this. And I continue for people to be sent to my office, trying to brainwash me, trying to tell me, oh, do this way, but they never show up. Like I said the last time to the lady, I said, every time you come here, you're asking me this, that, but you never come with anything else. You just come to tell me, and you've been at it for 24 years, I told her. You guys have been doing this for 25 years, and let me tell you, I've heard a lot of negative, comments and stuff come from these CRAs for years and years and years, but they've been at it for 24 years. All of a sudden, what am I supposed to do here? Drop pie from the sky and tell you guys I want to do this, this, and that without even knowing what kind of money I have? These are the questions that they sent over to talk to me. So I feel like on their part, it's not serious, man.
Well,
I'm serious, but from their part, I feel like they're playing a game here to see that, the less they can do. That's the way I feel. You'll excuse me, Commissioner, but that's the way, that's what's gone on.
Through the chair, and we're going to be transparent. I've asked you professionally to stop listening to that noise because all it's serving to do is impede the process that your professional team is working on. I have literally worked on every single CRA in the city of Miami and North Miami. I've done this 6 times. I know what I'm doing. Okay. We just have to get through the process. I know it doesn't help that you do have people from the outside constantly coming to you, and you and I have had this conversation. If I could put a shelter around you with regards to this and assure you we're getting it done, but we are getting it done.
You know what's happened, that when they tell me this, I get excited that I think they're going to offer something new, and that we're going to.
I've told you how we're going to fund the seed money.
So guys, don't send me anybody else over there to brainwash me, to try to get me to think another way, because it ain't going to happen. Until you guys show up to the negotiating table, it ain't going to happen. So you know what, Larry, I'm going to take your word, I promise. So guys, you guys know. So when you guys make an appointment with Brian Castañeda or my secretary, please don't be annoyed when they tell you we don't want to talk to you guys. We're not being rude. And we're not, being like that, but, we've been told not to talk to you guys.
May I have a motion do I have to do a reconsideration, Todd?
For PZ6, yes.
I need a motion for reconsideration of PZ6 because there's a substitution item. May I have a motion? PZ6. It's the partial release of a covenant for 16, I think, wait. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And now may I have a motion to pass PZ6 with the substitution?
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
As amended.
As amended.
I have, Madam Chair, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but I did have one question for Larry, and that is if the funding sources have already been identified for the
Can we
CRA.
leave this for another time, please?
Just one question
When you say the funding sources, what do you mean?
for the 10 million. That was
I have instructed the commissioner that the money will come from the City of Miami General Fund.
Oh, so this is only about $10 million?
No, there is not.
What the heck is Alapata going to do just with $10 million?
I didn't say I didn't say a number.
That is not the agreement. That is not the agreement.
I didn't say a number. He asked me where the source was, and he knows why I'm saying what I'm saying. Technically, the money will come from the City of Miami.
Somewhere
Yes.
over the rainbow.
No, not over the rainbow.
Okay. At this time, we have discussion items. Are there any items for discussion that we would like to?
Did we do FR1 and FR2?
Oh, well, let's FR1, FR2. Okay.
Yeah, I pulled those.
Do we want to hear them or do we want to defer them? FR1 and 2.
I would rather defer them for a full commission meeting.
Defer.
Commissioner Cabela, how do you feel about that?
This has been going around for a while, and it's having an effect in my area.
The garbage?
But if it's the will, of this body to defer, I will go along with it.
Do I have a motion?
The motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
To January 9th?
Which,
Yes, that's fine.
Yes, okay.
January 9th. Okay, we have FR 7 and 8 in play. That was pulled.
That was 7 and 8. Yes, that was pulled.
Do we want to defer it?
I'm fine with deferring.
I want to hear 8.
We want to hear 8. What about 7? It's FR 7 and
I'm okay deferring 7.
Okay, Commissioner Cabela.
Whatever you guys want to do.
All right, is there a motion to defer FR 7?
Motion?
Do I have a second? For FR
Second.
I have a motion and a second to defer FR 7 to the January 9th meeting or the second meeting in January?
Second meeting, January.
Second.
Second meeting in January. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That's January 24, correct?
January 23rd.
23rd. Okay. And FR 8, Commissioner Pardo. You wanted to discuss it?
No, DI 8. Sorry.
We're on FR.
Apologize. I got mixed up.
You're a little punch drunk right now. Okay. Do we want to defer FR 8 to January 23rd?
I'm fine deferring it.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a motion
Motion?
and a second. Motion and a second.
What is this again? I'm sorry. FR?
FR 8.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item is deferred until January 28th, which now we...
January 23rd.
I'm sorry, I wrote 23 and I said 28, sorry. Okay, we are on the discussion items now. Are there any of the items before us that you would like to defer?
Like to defer to everything that's left.
Everything that's left, I could...
I want to go exercise. The
Okay.
mayor signed the ordinance already, so we go exercise out there.
I would like to at least defer discussion item 5 until Commissioner Reyes is here. And I will defer the labor conditions discussion item 3. So I'm offering discussion item 3 and discussion item 5 to be deferred.
Yes, you're gonna.
Are there any?
You might as well Go ahead with everything there.
Commissioner Pardo, you said you wanted to discuss
DIA.
DI-8. Okay, so
Deferred everything for the next meeting. So
do,
we could be done now. The motion to defer all the DIs.
No,
The
DIA,
next
I want to
meeting.
hear.
okay,
I have a motion to defer all the DIs for the next meeting.
do I have a second?
I'll defer D1 to D7.
Okay,
I'll stand with them on D8.
okay. So we have a motion to defer DI 1 through, we don't have a motion because one is for 1 through 7 and one is 1 through 8. So I'm okay with hearing DI 8 because then we won't have for 1 through 7.
Well, the problem is that there are going to be things that will impact the one that he's trying to bring out.
Okay.
So, Commissioner Cabela, I respectfully request if we could include all the DIs for the next January meeting. Even if it's the first meeting in January, I don't care.
I would like to hear
There's
DIA.
nothing, there's nothing there in DI 8.
How do you know?
They
It's a
can't wait
discussion
until
item.
then. Well,
No, I'm going to stay with him on this one,
okay,
with all due respect.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I wanted to show in
Oh,
video.
wait, we got to take a vote to this.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion to defer DI 1 through 7. All in favor?
Aye.
And the seconder was? I know Commissioner Gabella made the motion. Who's the seconder?
Second.
Pardo? Okay, 1 through 7 has been deferred till,
January 9th.
okay. Discussion item regarding civility. I believe we all need to hear that today.
Well, and I want to specifically show some instances. Yeah.
The ones that he wants to pick out.
Yeah, the ones that I want to
The
look
ones
at.
that he wants
Yes,
to pick out.
that is correct.
Pardo, legal application. Executive both had a great time in good Spain. We have wonderful chorizo at this time of the year. Most of that. You know, this is the legal chorizo or whatever, but any time of the year is great. He's certainly doing it in his vacation time.
Yeah.
What's the problem with this one?
You want to say,
Still,
this, but then you're willing to do
Because
you
we're
wanna do
going to
this
have a bonfire, we're going to have a real bonfire.
Mr.
Okay,
Mayor,
so then
I-
Little Billy, he said you have a daughter, but he didn't say who the father was. My God, little Billy.
at this
So
time,
that's why you have that, after granddaddy got mad at you and you couldn't live in the apartment for
This
free
is like-
anymore.
at
Madam-
this time,
We need to move on.
at this time,
This is
the
ridiculous.
city of,
Let's move on.
Ridiculous, that's the guy that protects you all the time.
the city clerk needs to make a statement.
So rude.
Thank you, Chair.
You can't have decorum with a guy that thinks he's a gangster.
Yeah, the only gangsters here.
Okay.
The only gangsters here.
Thank you for participating in the city.
Excuse me, Mr. Torres, if you want to swear at me, go up here and do it, okay? If you want to swear at me quietly.
That's it, that's
what,
it.
What'd you say? Very good. Listen, you could call me and visit me like you used to anytime you want. Just you and me. You could visit me, okay? Yeah, that's what you are. You're a fucking liar. A liar? Then you know what? Next meeting, I'm showing all the other texts that you sent me, including your...
The process.
No, sir. You are saying that because you want to slow the process up. You want the 31 votes.
No.
Oh, yes. This is what's going on here.
No. Listen.
Yeah.
You know what?
You're making decisions in every darn meeting. not based upon what's best for the city, what's best upon Mr. Reyes, because he wants to be mayor.
Hey, hold
No,
on.
no,
You
it doesn't matter if I
No.
want to be mayor.
Looking you right in the face, and I see finally the smirk went away. I'm not where you used to, that you could defame, you could attack, and I'm going to sit back and take it. I have sit back and try to behave as professionally as I can with you, but your games stop here today. Any way you want it, I'm going to give it to you tenfold. Here, outside of here, any radio program, any TV, anywhere you want. You're the biggest fraud that's hit this city and the biggest fake. And we'll deal with that in December, Mr. Pardo.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Pardo.
So, these are absolutely false claims. I gave $165,000 to my campaign. I don't think it is becoming of a commissioner to question anyone without proof in the public. It's a little bit embarrassing to have a journalist kind of call out a sitting commissioner in that way. I believe calling other sitting commissioners lapdogs, or that they have been installed by people involved in his lawsuit, or by saying that we're here to destroy the city, or that we're here to destroy employees, is conduct becoming of a commissioner. And the worst part, in my mind, is that he is weaponizing government by introducing this FR1. This is only there, as he just used it in the media, as just one more way, a political narrative against an opponent that he may not agree with. And I think I guess we haven't learned from the $10 million that we're paying, but you can't weaponize government in that way. We signed an oath which states, to my colleagues and to all of those I represent and serve, I pledge fairness, integrity, and civility in all actions taken and all communications made by me as a public servant. I'm not sure, Madam Chair, if this is the right moment or if after, but I would like to call for a censure of Commissioner Carollo in this matter.
You want to say, this, but then you're willing to do
Because
Bottom line, I was never in Spain on vacation. I don't know why you're such a fan of sausage in Madrid. It has nothing to do with me. And it's this idea that by bullying, you can just always get your way and get through every department or every single thing you need. I'm not afraid of you. I'm embarrassed by you. And there's a big difference with that. You can take a couple of facts and you can spin a delusion, a paranoid delusion, and start talking about it and making it a reality. I have no interest in doing that. I'm not pulling your items from the agenda like you're doing to me. Not this meeting, not the last meeting. I'm not going to a building with graffiti in your district and trying to blow it up to make you look bad. I'm not talking about the Gang of 8 and plumbers giving money to PACs and all these other things. I'm not trying to defund Omni-CRA. I'm not trying to hurt any of the staff in your office. None of that makes sense to me. Because at the end of the day, we're not serving our residents. We're playing political games that serve no one, absolutely no one. And I think it's based in very false information. So I would like the city attorney, and we've talked about this, I would like the city clerk, I would like Madam Chair, to come up with guardrails so that these things impact our bond rating as a city. They impact our image globally. They impact whether people even want to work here with us. So let's take ownership of this. And if we have to stop each other maybe, or politely put each other, in these guardrails, I think it's good. Because otherwise, people like me who are trying to abide by a certain code of conduct are handcuffed. We're put at a disadvantage. We can't, give our information the same way. So that would be my ask. And if there are claims against me these claims about PACs and money, go report it, go to the state attorney, go to the Commission on Ethics, go wherever you need to go. That's what I would do. I wouldn't just sit here and keep making false claims and taking time and putting residents and everybody else in a bad shape.
Madam Chairman, so we could end this. He had plenty of time, so now it's my time, and let's close this meeting for today. Mr. Pardo is clearly concerned of things that he's done, that he knows are wrong. So he comes with us today, pretending that, gee, he's a hurt and offended party, that he's such a good guy, he's just Mr. Wonderful. And he cuts pieces from where he wants to cut them, stops, goes, and whatever he wants to show, with help from a few people that did this for him, so that he could pretend that, gee, you know, I'm a victim. Well, comes January, I want to talk about the guardrails that he's talking about. Because I stand by what I stated. I'm fed up with the hypocrisy. He's in a mission, nonstop, against Bayfront Park Trust, and to go at me personally. It's nonstop. The first video that he had here, we both know who gave it to him, that he sent to the trust meeting to film that day. Unfortunately, we didn't have the cameras in the trust that we do now to have filmed the other way, to see what they were saying and how they were trying to instigate me and the board to how they were behaving. But he is no little lost Mary. Is what we say in Cuban slang, la gatica Maria Ramos, que tira la piedra y esconde la mano. The little cat, Maria Ramos, that throws the rock and hides the hand so you won't see that he threw the rock. And you have all this time to think about your guardrails. I'm going to bring my guardrails and show everything since I've been here that you've been trying to do this underhanded and have crossed the line, sir. Crossed the line completely. And every meeting that we have here, you bring in your campaign group so that we have to spend another 45 minutes, another hour in meetings that we would have to spend otherwise, that depending on what's happening here, they could attack any one of us, but no doubt about it, every meeting, the attacks are mainly aimed at me. And I hear it, I take it. You know, whatever your buddy little Billy says ain't going to rouse me up, nor any of the people that you called up. And there is proof that you're doing this on every meeting. And this is the kind of weaponizing and warfare that you bring up. You can't do it yourself, so you got to go behind the scenes to get people to come, to get your campaign group. And you really think that you're going to get a guy like me to think that because you could bring in 15, 20, even 30 people here, that's going to make me think that you have everybody that's behind you? It's ridiculous. We saw this in the 80-20 vote. You lost by 80%, and you still haven't gotten over that. And you can't get over the fact that you haven't been able to run me over like you wanted to. I have voted in many things for your district, for you. I haven't held anything back from your district that I could certainly recall in voting for you. But you have gone out of your way to hurt whoever you have to see how you could come and hurt me. So, Chairwoman, he wanted to bring it up. He brought his little video up, trying to play victim again. When we come back at the next commission meeting, you will see that he's nowhere near the victim that he tries to play again.
Madam Chair, what we do in our office, and I'm actually very proud of it, is we do a very hard job with engagement. We do open forums, we do agenda reviews before and after. I believe in that. I'm an activist. I've been doing that for 35 years. It would go against me not to try to do that. We try to engage people every which way. Whenever we speak to people, we tell them, please come, please speak. I know it doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't feel like we listen, like I'm sure the downtowners felt today. At no time do we try to manipulate anything or carve anything like that. Quite the opposite. We just think we're doing a very good job with engagement in our forums. We can get a few hundred people. We're happy and proud that we can do that. This is not personal. I personally have nothing against you, Commissioner Carollo. If the folks from Bayfront are in my district and they come to be represented, we give them a platform. That's all we do for them. And we want to do that. So I'm just, I'm trying to be very clear on that because I don't want this spun in a way that's like, we all have very little time to be invested trying to do this stuff, right? So I'm not here trying to figure out how to target anybody, quite the opposite. I'm just trying to get as much done in our district and in our city as possible. And that's been clear from day one.
Bottom line is that when you say the downtowners, you're talking about your campaign downtowners, because the majority of downtowners voted in mass against what you were calling vote against Carollo and the gym. 80-20. And that's the bottom line. So I respectfully say to you, sir, quit hiding and saying that the downtown residents, because what you have is a very small vocal minority. And you're trying to control a huge majority, just like in communist countries, by using a very small vocal minority.
I'll just leave it at this. I don't think a big majority is 27,000 people out of 2.5. But what I wanted to leave it on is more often than not, I am not going to jump into the mud fight, because I realize when you jump into that mud fight, it's all of us and it's our city. And so if people see me quietly here, never think that I'm agreeing with what's being said. What I'm thinking is, do I really want to engage in this moment or present my case in an organized way at another time? And that's what I've tried to do here today.
Then why do you throw the mud, sir? Why do you have others throw the mud at me and others here?
I don't.
Of course you do.
No, they come.
And you know you do.
You've earned it from them.
So I think we've heard. And I think that we can all do better. I think we can all do better. I think we can all be a bit more civilized to each other. And there are times when we are very passionate about serving and protecting our districts. You rarely see me raise my voice, and I raised my voice at Commissioner Gabella, and I'm sorry. You always raise your voice, though, sir.
May I proceed, sir?
Let me finish. So the point I'm trying to make is that I do not think that it would be a waste of time for all of us to reflect on our conduct and come back next year with a renewed spirit of service and congeniality for our colleagues, because all of you are my colleagues, and I respect all of you. I love all of you, and these are great times. We have been given a tremendous responsibility. Service is the highest honor. It is the highest honor. And the only way that we will do our communities well is if we can get along with each other. So I would ask that we make an effort to continue to get along with each other. I believe Commissioner Gabella would like to weigh in.
Yeah, so got a couple of things. I'll be brief. You know, the reason I think we get into trouble here, number one, we don't have time limits. I, for one, when we started out, Carollo and I had our differences. You know, I try to be cordial. I don't like name calling. You know, I don't think I do a lot of name calling here. I might not agree with you, but I'm not going to call you, you know, a name. I'm not into that. You know, I hear what you're saying. On the other hand, I hear what he's saying also, and I hear what we're all saying. In response to that, sometimes you, Madam Chair, I don't mean any disrespect, but if I think if I'm a gentleman here, and sometimes I've listened to Carollo go on for 20 minutes and 25 minutes. Everybody knows this. And Mr. Pardo, today you spoke at length sometimes for 10 minutes. You're right. You're a commissioner, just like, you know, people elected you, people elected Commissioner Carollo, and people elected you, Madam Chair, as they did me. And so when you interrupted me that I can't talk because you want to set a time limit on me, but not on him, that's not fair, and I'm not going to stand for it. And so, but I understand what you're hearing, and believe me, I have tried to be cordial here under the circumstances, and I think I have succeeded to some extent. I'm not perfect. I have many flaws. I apologize for them. However, to you, sir, if I have to jump in the mud or the river or the ocean for my district, let it be known that I will, to respectfully with you guys. And what you heard me say was, and why I got frustrated, is because we've been playing a lot of games, I think, you know, for 4 or 5 months with this Alapata CRA business. Okay, and just like you were frustrated, correctly so, Commissioner Carollo, with the gym equipment, and you, because, you know, you're what you believe in, and everybody believes in what they believe in. I'm not going to try to change you. You're not going to, you know. But the point of the matter is, we must negotiate. You know, and my frustration is that nobody has been forthcoming from your team to me, only giving me the same story. I think it's important. I think we should set some guardrails of maybe say, hey, you know what? Each of us are going to get 10 minutes. Okay, let's call it that. If you're, you know, and then somebody when you're done with that, and the other person answers you back, then maybe we get 5 minutes for a rebuttal. And then maybe we can end it at that. I'll do whatever you ladies and gentlemen want me to do, okay? But please don't call me uncivil because, you know, today I'm trying to, because I'm upset, and I got to take the opportunity of telling what's going on in my district. So I was elected, I'm on the people's voice in my district, and I was elected to make my district better. Okay, and this is one of the components that I need done. This thing with the Camilo's house, I'm not making this up. Okay, we don't have people, we don't have beds, we can't take them anywhere. We're just shuffling around. We're wasting police resources. Okay, we're not getting anything done, and I'm suffering the consequences. My constituents are in District 1. Okay, and like you, Commissioner Pardo, that you have to hear about it, and you, Commissioner Carollo, and you, ma'am, you know, I have to hear about it, and I have to do something about it. I can't just sit here, you know, on my knees, on my hands, and not do anything about it. But pertaining to the subject that we're at hand, I think maybe we should vote on setting ourselves time limits of maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes, okay, and then a rebuttal for 5 or 7, whatever you guys, ladies and gentlemen, agree on, and then start from there. But I will try to better myself in January. I can promise you that I will come back, you know. I've done it for some time where Commissioner Carollo and Manolo, Commissioner Reyes got into a tiff, you know, a while back. I had nothing to do with that. Today you guys got in it, had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? You know, I got into it.
It's because he didn't want to find the clips in you, only in me. And then cut him at the right time.
I think you guys should resolve your issues. But look.
I believe we have some, I'm sorry, I'm about to do it again. I didn't mean to interrupt you. The manager had waved his hand. Finish.
Okay, well, that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
I'd like to proffer an idea for our January meetings. The January 9th meeting, because of the logistics of the holidays and the deadlines required, also because of some events that are occurring that day, I'd like to see if there's any openness to consideration of combining the 2 January meetings, the 9th and the 23rd to the 23rd, for purposes of just efficiency, if you'll entertain that at all.
That's fine.
Fine with that.
All good.
So I can sort of read a resolution real quick to that effect.
Okay.
A resolution of the Miami City Commission combining the January 9, 2025 and the January 23, 2025 City Commission meetings into one meeting to be held on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, starting at 9 a.m. And moving all items previously set on the January 9, 2025 meeting to the January 23, 2025 meeting, directing the city manager and the city clerk to take any and all actions necessary to ensure that the public is properly noticed of the change in date.
Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to open the meeting for public comment on that item, moving the meeting, combining the January 9th meeting with the January 23rd meeting.
Hi. January 23rd.
To January 9th.
Yeah.
Excuse, this is my public comment, James?
Right, and her time is ticking.
Okay. It is ticking. Nicole Desiderio, 900 Biscayne Bay. I actually think that's a great idea, give everyone a little more holiday time, but I did want to set the record straight about something. You accused Pardo of sending me down to your trust meeting to take a video, and I did not get sent by anyone. Okay?
No.
All right.
This is not open for this here.
She finished. She got it out.
Yeah. This woman
anyone
is part of his attacks on me and on the trust.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment on combining the January meetings to January 23rd?
I just want to say, please start on time. If you're coming back a month later, y'all are going to be rested. Please, so Wysong can give us the information we need. Please reduce the sidewalk at Morning Park. Thank you.
Mr. Wysong, last but not least, through the chair, what has happened with the graffiti-filled building downtown?
Chair.
I would prefer to defer to the city manager who
Well,
has some updated information.
we are in litigation on that, so I would prefer to brief you on that one-on-one if I could.
Could we brief you separately?
Yeah, I don't really want to have that
Okay.
conversation with the public.
I'm being told by the city clerk that I need to take care of the business at hand. May I have a motion to combine the January 9th meeting?
So second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And you had a question? Did they answer?
Yeah, well, they answer they prefer to do it privately.
Okay. So that shall conclude the commission meeting for December 12, 2024. Thank you all, and you all have a happy holiday and a happy new year. I will see you in January.